You are listening to New Earth Pathways. New Earth Pathways is a movement to awaken humanity while creating a community in unity. Connect to your heart as we come together as a circle of light to advance the awakening of the planet.
Okay, welcome New Earth Navigators. I'm Erica, the host of the New Earth Pathways podcast, a place where we can connect as a community to awaken to new states of consciousness and support the new Earth reality. Today, we're going to talk about empowering your transition from 3D to 5D consciousness. And there's a lot of talk in the spiritual communities about this idea of transitioning, awakening, ascension. But I think today my guest and I are going to go a little bit deeper with it and just kind of play in that field. So we're going to talk a little bit to start out about what does it mean to ascend and what does that look like for people these days, and how does it happen? So we're going to start there at that basic level and just really dive in deep after that. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my guest, Maya Boston. And Maya is what I would call a multi-potentialite. She is so expansive and does so many amazing things. I don't know how we're gonna have to invite her back. So Maya is an international transition guide, a light language channel, a gong sound journey practitioner, which sounds amazing. She does coaching, she's an intuitive, an empath, and so much more. And what I really appreciate about Maya, even though we have not really met in person yet, but I can just tell that she's just so amazing. And but Maya really recognizes that we are our own, we are all masters, we're all sovereign in our own right. And at the same time, Maya acknowledges the oneness of all creation. And I think that is just such a great fit for our community and what we're trying to accomplish with our new Earth reality. Just really bringing in that frequency of oneness, the me to the we to unity. So Maya, before we're going to take a break in just a couple minutes, but if you could just say hi to our community, and why don't you tell us kind of what are you passionate about right now? What's the latest, the most recent thing you're excited about?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me today. And I'm really excited when people start asking me about what I'm passionate about, because there's so much out there. We're living in this most amazing time on the planet. I'm celebrating the fact that I'm here with all of you. And I just love it. I love it because I can see all the potentials for humanity, and that's part of what I do, is to assist people in going on their ever deepening journey within themselves, and that's all the tools that I bring to that is to help humanity bridge from the third dimensional consciousness to the fifth dimensional consciousness. So I'm really excited to be here, and thank you for inviting me along, and thank you to your listeners as well.
Oh, that is so beautiful, Maya. And I am just so excited to, like I said, just play in all these different frequencies that are coming in for us and really explore the topic today and see where it takes us. So I think I'll go ahead and we'll just do a quick break right now so that we have plenty of time to just, like I said, take a deep dive. Before we go to break, if you would like to become a part of our community or learn about all the amazing things that we have going on, please visit activateevolution.com, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for a community to light you up while connecting to others? Are you ready to live beyond the containers that have been created in the old paradigm? Come experience what it really means to be part of a new Earth community. New Earth Pathways is a community where a sense of belonging, is ever flowing. Opportunities are endless and unconditional love reigns. It is time to create the reality you came here to become. If you are ready to step into self-mastery and creation, explore your brilliance with our community of unity. Together in oneness, we are in the creation of a new earth. We welcome you to a circle of light. Come walk with like-minded, like-hearted souls that uplift and support expansion. The divine design is in creation. Your light matters in this evolutionary space. It is time to connect to the miracle pattern and be the light you came here to be. We welcome you with open arms and invite you to visit newearthpathways.com to connect with others living their divine purpose.
Okay, we are back. Again, my name is Erica with the New Earth Pathways podcast, and I am here with Maya Boston. And, we're going to talk about this idea of ascension and moving from 3D to 5D consciousness and just kind of see where that takes us. And Maya, I wonder if we could just start out really quickly with kind of for someone who's kind of new to this concept, I think a lot of our listeners probably already know a lot about it, but what would be sort of an entry-level explanation about what that process is of awakening and what that looks like?
Awakening is like the start of when we start asking questions about why or what is going on around us, what is happening on the earth, what is my purpose. These are the sort of questions that I'm getting from my own clients, and that's kind of like the beginning part. When those sort of questions start coming in, then that's the beginning of somebody's awakening. It's really simple. But a lot of us also go through things like maybe an illness or something that some kind of traumatic event that brings us to a head in our lives that we just have to stop in our tracks and go, okay, what just happened? Why didn't it happen? What's going on? What does this mean? I'm seeing this a lot, so when the internal questions start popping up, that's the beginning of an awakening. The embers, if you like, if I can give that analogy, start being flamed inside.
Yes. I love that. It's such a nice visual, and it's also, just like this kinesthetic feeling too. Like it's just really, things are starting to move, starting to question, and so Maya, you said that you do sessions and you work with people, and they're you get some of these people who are just starting to awaken. What about people you work with who are a little farther along? Like what is coming up for people these days? We've had so many shifts and transitions and upheaval, and
yeah. Well, what's coming up for people who are a little further down the line is, what do I do? How do I transition from 3D consciousness to 5D consciousness? Or what is that even? What is 3D consciousness? And I'm saying 3D consciousness, not 3D reality. And there is a big difference, at least for me anyway, because the way that I see fifth dimension and all of that, the higher frequencies, it is not a destination, people. It's a state of being. We're not going to suddenly wake up one morning and find ourselves on another planet in higher frequencies. We're not going to have our galactic family beam us off anywhere else or come and save us and suddenly switch the frequency on the planet. It is a process of ascension, and we can only go as fast as the slowest person on the planet. Each of us has our own pace. Each of us is at different parts of our journey. And so those that are maybe a little further ahead are needing to learn patience. compassion, understanding, acceptance, that not everybody's on the same page. And yes, I also understand that because we recognize the frequencies of home, we're impatient. We want to get there really quick. Everyone's going, come on.
It's so true.
But it can't be done that way, you know. I personally am one that can't take leaps and bounds myself in the process. I'm one that takes baby steps. So, so it's like I really need to get a push from the universe, you know, before I take the next step, or I'm actually seeing where my next step is. And it's like, oh, is that what that's about?
Right. I agree. And what do you think about this idea that as more of us awaken and we do take those steps, just kind of in faith, kind of into the unknown, into the next, do you see us as kind of opening doors and making the transition a little bit easier for people who are kind of up and coming in their process?
Sure. So as we, the way showers, the ones that are a little further down the track in their journeys, are going and further ahead and doing their processes, then also it makes it easier. If I can, I'm very visual, so it's like holding a light on the path for others to follow. So and by the way, there are so many paths that, you know, each individual needs to follow their own path. They may follow someone part of the way, but then they might go off that path and do something else, because that's part of their journey. It's an individual journey. So it is making it easier for others, and certainly the information that is coming out now, even like 20 years ago, was not there. People thought it was like too woo-woo or something, you know. So it's becoming more and more mainstream, which is great, because then that helps build the momentum on the planet.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that too about the individual paths, because sometimes it's hard not to kind of compare where other people are on their journey, or why am I not more like that or this. But I really think, you know, as you said, we all have our individual frequency, our own like home connection, and we're all bringing that in together, and really need to honor that and follow our own journeys. So
yes, which is, I feel it is the difference between coaching, which you mentioned earlier, and guiding, like intuitively guiding someone on their path. Because coaching to me says you have to do something a certain way, because I've done it or somebody else has done it and this is the way it's done. Whereas guiding is more tailored to the individual. This is what this is how it can be done, but what do you feel about it is the question that I ask my clients, you know. So I help my clients find their own individual journey rather than telling them what to do, because telling people what to do, or, you know, having been told what to do is really easy, isn't it? the harder path, the truer, more authentic path is to discover, you know, your own way of doing things. And that's why the current system has to fall away, because the current system is about one size fits all, and that's not true anymore. It's about finding our own individual path.
Yes, that is so true. So Maya, can you tell us a little bit about, there are two different paths to use that I'm curious about to exploring with you. One is kind of, what was your own process, and what do you think there's something in your experience that was a big shift for you that might kind of help others in our community? And then the other path I'm curious about is, you just have so many tools and talents. And I'm just so curious how you work with people. So I'm just going to put that out to you and let you feel into kind of where you want to go, which path.
Okay. So the way that I work with people is I'm intuitive, and I use the tools that I have developed within myself at this point in time, like light language. So I channel the light language, and that always upshifts people's frequencies during the session. And I find the guidance that comes through for the individual. I have a 22-day program which helps people to transition from 3D to 5D consciousness. And why 22? Because it takes 21 days to create a new neural pathway in the brain. But I like the number 22 because in numerology, it's the master builder number. So we're building a foundation for people to go beyond into their life and take this new consciousness with them and create their new lives. But definitely in all of that, it's a guidance. It's not telling people what to do, and it's assisting people because everyone's so different. So we all come up with different things that different obstacles, if you like, in our paths. So that's why it's a guidance. And I love that because we're going into this new age in humanity's history, but we cannot take what we've already have within us into this new age, because all of that which we have within us is 3D. We're going into 5D, so we've got to leave a lot of the stuff behind. So I always say it's like if you were in a hot air balloon, because I love that experience. I have done hot air ballooning in the past, and I just love that serenity and peace that I feel when I'm up high, so high above the land. But it's like the hot air balloon. At first, it's anchored to the ground, so it's anchored into third dimensionality, and it slowly, bit by bit, you've got to untie the rope from the sandbag to allow that hot air balloon to rise. So it's like going into letting go of things that anchor us into the third dimensional, in the third density, and then kind of rising into the fifth density. And again, I'm using third and fifth, which is very linear, but it's a way of using language to express a concept. And we all know that once we reach those fifth dimensional frequencies, that it's actually multidimensional everything.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. That was that was going to be a question I was going to ask about, is this idea of multidimensionality and how you conceptualize that with your clients, or how you feel into that, and how would you describe that to someone who's just starting to explore that?
So it's not a location, it's not a destiny that you get to, it's a state of being. And the way that we get to that state of being is by going inward and looking at the third dimensional things that hold us back, that anchor us in the third density. So that would be some of the lower frequencies, emotional frequencies, like anger, frustration, impatience, competition. You mentioned earlier, we're comparing ourselves to others. That's a competition, which this system has taught us to do. But the only person we need to compare ourselves with is ourselves. So I would compare myself, say, to the version of myself that was last year, and say, and ask myself, am I more expanded than last year? Have I let go of a few more third dimensional things that are anchoring me there, and have I shifted into my personal sovereignty? And so the personal sovereignty is more the fifth dimensional state, because personal sovereignty is I'm in a state where I have peace and I'm centered and anchored within, and I can see what is going on around me, and I'm not in reaction to my environment. I take a few seconds to consciously process what is going on and ask myself, do I need to respond? Is this something that I can change? Or is it something that I just need to allow to unfold on its own? And so sovereignty, personal sovereignty, is responding consciously to a situation. Is this something that I need to expend my energy on, or is it something that I can just leave because I can't be of assistance? So that we're not continuously in reaction, because reaction brings up those lower frequency emotions.
Yeah. That was so beautifully said. I haven't, the term sovereignty comes up a lot in the spiritual community, and I just love how you explained it like that. And just having that ability to choose, even if you choose that you do want to be grumpy for a little bit, but having that awareness, like, this is my choice. I'm not just reacting. I'm not in a victim state. I'm sovereign. I get to choose. So I appreciate.
And so if the grumpiness comes up, then that is a sign to ask yourself, okay, what has this brought up? It's brought up grumpiness, but why is it that I'm feeling grumpy about this? What is it, something that I need to look at, or is it something that I can let go of?
Yeah. So taking it to that next level of inquiry,
going even deeper.
I love that.
I just love that, going on that ever deepening journey within. And there is no end to the journey, because I love that old quote that says, we are not a drop in the ocean, we're an ocean in a drop.
Oh, that is beautiful. How have I not heard that one before? Thank you for sharing that. I have not heard that one.
It's before. Not my quote. I can't remember whose quote it is, but I love it myself. It's one of my personal favorites.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Because I'm sure there must be someone else out there like me who is hearing this for the first time. It's really beautiful. So, well, this is a sort of a shorter interview, and I'm so excited to have you come back and interview sometime down the line with our community and on the Evolution channel.
I love that.
But I wanted to check in with you. We're not completely out of time. So what are your thoughts on doing a little process or activation? And if that's calling to you?
Sure, we can do a process.
We have a few minutes. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Let's do it. I think our community will like that. That's always fun.
Okay. So let's just get comfortable in our seats and closing our eyes and taking a deep breath in through the nose, right down into the abdomen, and just exhaling through the mouth and just releasing anything that is holding you back from the now moment. As you take another deep inhale right down into the abdomen. And if you need to kind of put your hand on your abdomen just to help you focus, that's fine too. And then just exhaling through the mouth and releasing anything that is holding you back from focusing on the now moment. And one more deep breath in, and just exhaling anything that is residual, that's maybe stressing you or impacting you on some level. And then just get into your natural rhythm of breathing. I'm just going to speak some light language to help us all just get on the same page, so to speak. Kora ia na aku, e sho, haina ri na aku, e ma aqua shehi, no mare kora aun, tu pakine e, ho hara tene. And just take a deep breath into those light codes and frequencies. Breathe them into your heart. I'd just like you to place your hand over your heart to help you focus. And those light codes and frequencies, as light language is the language of the heart, I just want you to feel into your heart as you open it up and just notice the difference in your heart. And just keep breathing into your heart. And feeling it expand. You might be experiencing it as tingles or warmth in your chest, and just allow it to expand out. And allow this beautiful heart energy to expand throughout your whole body, into every cell in your body, from your toes to the tips of your fingers to the top of your head. And just fill every cell in your body with your beautiful heart energy. You are a master of love. It cannot be any other way, for love is where you have come from. And now continue to expand that energy outward beyond your physical form into your field. And fill your entire field with your heart energy. Koraina akwe I kushehi ampaka tu mairakine oraki shehi tu pe ai. And just take a deep breath into that. Breathing in those light codes and frequencies into your heart and into your body and your field. Know that there is nothing more powerful than your heart energy. It shines such a bright light that anything that is not of the light either gets transmuted within your field or it distances itself from you. For so long, humanity has been taught to hold the light, to diminish the light within. And now the time has come to remember to shine your light out into the world so brightly that all that is not of the light is transmuted or disappears. Arakia na'a hu she'ara numa ki pa dea un. And just take a deep breath into that. Allowing those light codes and frequencies to settle into every cell in your body, every particle in your field. We are all one. Just take a deep breath. Giving yourself a few moments to process this energy. As you take another deep breath and prepare to gently open your eyes and become fully present once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. That was transformative. For me personally, it was this whole journey that just happened in a matter of minutes. And I am just so grateful for the work that you're doing.
Oh, and I'm grateful for your presence in my life too. How wonderful. Thank you for sharing.
This is why I like to do the activation towards the end, because it's hard to get back in that other part of my brain sometimes. So I just want to thank you again, and would love to talk to you again sometime. And
Absolutely.
I'm sure our paths will cross at some point. And Maya, do you want to share your website or anything? Because I really think people are going to want to connect with you.
Sure. My website is Maya Gongs, one word, mayagongs.com.
Great. I know we didn't even get to talk about your sound healing, so another facet. So
yes.
Okay, well, I want to also be sure to thank our community for tuning in. And before we go, I'd again like to invite anyone who's listening to visit us at activateevolution.com, and you can learn more about our New Earth community and all of the fun and innovative and amazing things we have going on there. So thank you, everyone, and I hope you have a really beautiful day.
Bye for now.
You are listening to New Earth Pathways. We are a nonprofit community creating a place for you to experience a New Earth community in unity. We invite you to join the movement to awaken the planet while connecting to your soul family. By joining our soul community, you can contribute to the movement designed to be the biggest event in the evolution of humanity. Visit newearthpathways.com to connect with others living their divine purpose.